Welcome back to your live BeTerrific continuing coverage of the 2015 New York International Auto Show here at the Jacob K. Javits Center in New York City on BeTerrific. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. DP in the chat room said 6-piston caliper brakes. That's unbelievable. I found out that is the biggest brake system ever put on a Chrysler car. Unbelievable. Unreal. Dodge Chrysler, the brand, everything like that. We've still got Chrysler in the house, Michigan State fans in the house, Detroit is in the house. By the way, if you want to join the conversation, it's easy, at BeTerrific TV on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us, connect@beterrific.com. Don't forget about my favorite way. You can go to beterrific.com/live, scroll underneath the live video player. You'll see an IRC chat. Create a login. Not only can you connect with us in real time, ask your questions, we'll ask on air, create statements, whatever it is, you can also talk to our other viewers. And the Michael Artsis Show, that's my show, airs regularly Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here at the Auto Show today, April 1st, and tomorrow, April 2nd, and we're bringing you wall-to-wall coverage here. And then you can come to the Auto Show in New York, April 3rd, to the 12th. It's open to the public. You can see all these cars firsthand, talk to people, touch them, all that stuff, get inside. Jill and Andy are joining us from Chrysler. Chrysler is such a great company. It's an American company. You guys make great cars. You got the C200, the Chrysler 200, the Chrysler 300, and of course the Town and Country minivan. Those are your highlights, but there's a lot more to Chrysler than just that. Tell me, Jill, about the Town and Country minivan.
The Town & Country is a fabulous vehicle. Not only has it received a ton of awards, the last 2 years in a row it's received the J.D. Power IQS Initial Quality Award. It also has 14 years in a row won the Polk Loyalty Award. So
Wow.
It speaks a lot to our vehicle that the people keep coming back and buying it.
And you guys are always innovating with features, especially in the minivan. So I think one year you had the most cup holders. Another year you had the chairs that faced each other and the little table so people could play, kids could play. It's all about creating a family-friendly environment that's safe on the road.
Absolutely. And we really pride ourselves on the innovation that we bring to that vehicle. And we keep track of them. We count them. We're at about 78 minivan firsts right now, including features like the Stow and Go, which no other minivan has been able to replicate.
It seems like such an easy thing. It seems like a no-brainer, but it really is. Like, you know, I don't love the minivan sector, though I'm starting to appreciate it, but we use minivans when we travel all the time with all this gear, and having the seats be able to fold into the floor, I mean, it's just genius.
Yeah, it really is amazing. You know, it's great for families. It's great for the kind of work that you do, and for the folks that aren't that familiar with it, basically in the second row seats, there's on the load floor, the floor that your feet would go on, you can open up the compartment. There's a huge tub for storage under there. So if you don't want to stow the seats, you have these huge tubs on the floor that you can put things in. For example, my family, we go kayaking, and so the kayaks are on the top of the roof, but what we do is I have 3 children, and we have these blow-up boats that will drag the kids behind us in the kayaks.
Wow.
So when we're done using the blow-up boats, we just deflate them and we stick them in those tubs, and then they don't have to take up space in the rest of the vehicle.
You know what I would do? I'd still want to be like a little James Bondish, even with the minivan. I'd have a tuxedo, a suit, I'd have jeans, I'd have a couple pairs of shoes, maybe a baseball glove too, just in case we were gonna, and a football, and maybe a couple of gadgets in there to get me out of some, gaffer's tape, rope, I don't know. Stuff I'd probably, by the way, never use, but it would all be there stored in case I needed it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where I keep my ice scraper. That's where I keep my winter hat.
That's a great place to keep the ice scraper because it drives me crazy. Like, it takes up trunk room in my car, and I'm like,
right.
And then if you take it out, the minute you take it out, you need it.
Absolutely.
Except for in the summer. That's when I really take it out. But then you forget to put it back in, and it snows, and you're like, cleaning it off with your hand with the glove that you forgot at home, so it's your hand. I've done that before. You've probably done that,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
It's even in spy movies, though. Remember, it was in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. our minivans were in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. With,
That's right.
With Brad Pitt throwing
See?
the bad guys out of one of the other doors, and
I like it.
saying these doors really are handy.
They are,
You know?
absolutely.
And you can trigger them through the remote and everything.
You
right?
can.
Yeah.
There are 3 different ways to control the power sliding doors. You can use your key fob. So as you're approaching your vehicle, you need to open the doors for the kids because they've run ahead of you. You can use your key fob. When you're in the vehicle, in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, and you need to open the second row door for somebody who's back there, again, perhaps a child, there's a control in the overhead console. So you just push the button and the door will open. And if you're sitting in the second row, there's a button right on the pillar, and you can push that and the door will open.
It's no more like grabbing the door and sliding it open and all that. It's just pushing a button.
You can just push the button. You can also grab the handle, and one pull of the handle will power the door open.
Oh, I like that way too. That's
Yep.
pretty cool. And safety-wise, you guys have you guys have a ton of airbags in there, right?
Yeah, tons of airbags everywhere you need them.
We got lots of cup holders. You know what? Believe it or not, it took me like 5 cars to have cup holders, like even have a cup holder. And then so it's never a big thing to me. So my wife's father gets a new car and it has no cup holders. Today, it's a brand new car, no cup holders. And he's going nuts, berserk. He's looking on the internet where he can find cup holders. Apparently, it's a really big thing. And my wife is saying to me, you know what, it really is a safety issue at this point. Because what do you need, a bottle of soda or something, or water flying around the
through the car,
vehicle?
right.
And what about, why can't, it should be in reach so you could reach it, drink it, put it down, and not be like, oh, where's that bottle? It really is that big a deal to a lot of people and a safety feature.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I used to just hold it between my legs.
Not the safest.
It's not the safest.
No, it's not.
Especially I had a stick shift car. My first, several car stick shift.
So you really know where to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cup holders throughout the vehicle for the third row occupants, for the second row occupants, for the first row occupants, and it's a 7-passenger vehicle.
I think do you guys have, is it true, you guys have, I've heard this, I don't know, you have the French fry holder? Is that true?
You can fit a French fry package in the cup
Now
holders.
I
it's
need
not
one.
dedicated,
I love it.
but absolutely.
Favorite food. I love that.
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And so you've got cup holders everywhere.
We do. We have more cup holders than the vehicle will seat. No, we do. You've
Just in
got
case
you have a fountain drink, you have your bottle of water, you have a juice box. So
It's a lot of drinks I've got.
Yes.
All right, tell me about the Chrysler 300 and 200. Both very good-looking cars, very luxurious cars.
Yeah, well, we're real excited. So we launched our new 200 back in July of last year, all new from the ground up. And, that's based on Alfa Romeo chassis, and it competes in the largest segment in the country. Almost 1 out of every 6 or 7 cars is sold in the midsize segment, which people tend to forget about. It outsells trucks and minivans and SUVs, and it's the number 1 segment overall is midsize cars. So it was very important for us as a company, obviously, to do well in this segment. So we poured a ton of resources into that car. So all new exterior, all new interior, standard 9-speed transmission.
You guys are 100% Chrysler at this point. I mean, for a while you were with Daimler, and a lot of Mercedes features went into a lot of the Chrysler vehicles.
Yep.
And I always felt that in those days it was old technology. Mercedes was like, here's our leftovers, or here's what we did 5 years ago, you guys can have it, and it was implemented. And it wasn't bad technology, it just wasn't the future. It seems like now it's all Chrysler and you're innovating, and it's the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally a collaborative effort. Here's the best that we have, and vice versa. 200 is a good example. We launched a bunch of industry firsts from a safety perspective in that segment. So, adaptive cruise with full stop, we're the first car to have that in the segment. Lane departure, that not only warns you when you're leaving the lane, but also actually pulls you back into the lane. The forward collision warning, that actually actively brakes the car. So if you're going under 20 and it senses you're going to hit something, the car will actively brake itself. I mean, these are features that you typically don't find on a mid-size car that we launched on the car last year. And then things like, the 9-speed transmission. We're the only ones in the segment with that, standard on every trim.
The 9-speed transmission makes for such a smoother ride. It's very interesting because I think that, years ago I thought, well, 6-speed's really amazing. What do I need a 7-speed? What do I need an 8-speed? When we got to like 8 speeds, I went, oh, you know what? This is a much smoother acceleration. So, yeah, there are times when I want to get into a Dodge Charger and slam on the gas and have those back wheels scream, and I want that acceleration and practically whiplash. And then And then there are times when you're just want to be luxurious, or you have the family and you want it to be as smooth as can be, or you have people in the car and you want it to be as smooth as can be. And so this is where I think this kind of transmission can shine, because it can be also all of those things as well. Can it not?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it's basically, if you take a standard 6-speed transmission, with an overdrive gear, now you add on 3 more overdrive gears on top of that for whatever speed you may be going. So you won't use the 9th gear very often, but what it allows you to do is, if you're on the highway and you're cruising and going at constant speed, it gives you the best fuel economy possible. If you think about it like a 10 or 20 speed bike, you're not going to use that top gear very often, but if you're going down a hill real fast, you're not going to turn the crank very much, and it'll turn the wheel. So it's a great transmission for whatever you're doing.
What are we talking about gas mileage wise?
It's standard 36.
36
miles, on the highway. So I mean, we were at basically 31 the old car. So I mean, we moved up 5 miles per gallon by adding the 9
very
speed.
impressive.
Yeah. So I mean, that's 184 horse with our standard 2.4 engine, 36 on the highway, and then you move up to. We also have a 295 horsepower.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we got the most horsepower in the class with our Pentastar V6. Also puts out 32 miles per gallon on the highway, so you're not really losing all that much. I mean, it gets pretty comparable numbers to some of the turbo engines that I've heard here today that get 32 miles per gallon on the highway.
I get about 18 miles to the gallon, which I'm not happy with. Sometimes 22, maybe. Yeah. You're 10 over that with much more performance out of the engine than I have. I got to start looking at Chrysler.
Yeah.
What is your favorite single feature in the car?
I think it's, frankly, the interior. We got awards, 10 Best award winner with the interior, and that's of all segments. You're talking, Rolls-Royce, Ghost, and some of these other cars that won in this segment, or in this award. We're the only midsize car to win that award. And
wait. The Rolls-Royce Ghost is in the same category because of the size as...
No, what basically, awards looks at all the interiors among the entire industry. It doesn't matter if it's a $400,000 car.
Whoa, wait a second. So literally they said Rolls-Royce Ghost, Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, all these cars, and they picked the Chrysler
as one of the top 10, yeah.
One of the top 10.
Yep.
Who's number 1?
Well, it's top 10. They don't really rank it. They
okay.
Say here are the 10 best interiors out there in the industry, and we're one of them. We're the only mid-sized car. So I mean, they try and get a range, right? Because obviously, if you're just picking the most exclusive interiors that are most expensive, but you want to get a good value interior too.
But I think from what I've seen, the interiors, they set a tone and have such a nice mood to them, and I really do like them, and so I can see why it's top 10. I'm very impressed by that though. On the other hand, I think that's great.
Yeah. There's some specific things we did to get that too. I mean, one of the biggest things that we did is we have a standard rotary dial. E-shift. It's the first full use of an electronic E-shift for any of the Chrysler company vehicles. And what that does is a traditional shifter is about the size of a shoebox, and you try and package that into the center console. So when you have this new one, it's about the size of a fist. So what that allows us to do is 2 things. One, it allows us to put everything where it should be, right? So when you put your arm on the armrest, all the redundant controls for the radio are right at your, right at hand's reach. But it also allows us to completely open up the center console. So we have a center pass-through where it's completely open. Women like to put small purses down there. The cup holders actually shift backwards, and there's a hidden media center underneath. So we have like the most in-car storage and a very ergonomic interior as a result. So
these are great features. Yeah. I like this. I like this a lot. I'm very impressed. And some of this technology had to come from the town and country, I would imagine, and looking at the way you look at space, because it starts out as in the town and country, as a big open space, and you have to figure out how to maximize that, because you can very easily clutter it, and you guys have done a great job with that. What are we talking price point wise? Because I think people, from what I know, I think people will be very impressed with what the price points are at.
Well, 200 starts at $21,700. And goes up from there.
Very reasonably priced.
Yeah, so at $21,700, you're getting that 9-speed, you're getting that standard rotary dial with that beautiful interior.
So walk me through the rotary dial, because I'm yet to drive a rotary dial car.
Okay.
I know that you can put paddles on the steering wheel to upshift, downshift, right?
Which we have.
And is that how, like, so if I'm driving and all of a sudden I decide I want to downshift, there's nothing to downshift. There's no stalk on the wheel. It's this rotary dial. So I'm not dialing it in. Yep. I'm not taking, but on the other hand, I'm not taking my hands off the wheel. Is that the way it's? And literally, I don't have to change it into another mode. I'm just.
Depends on the model,
Sure.
but we do have paddle shifters available. So if you're getting our S model, which is kind of our sport line, or any V6 across the lineup, you're getting standard paddles, because we find those customers are the ones that typically want to shift through the gears, whether they're buying the sport model or the more powerful
So
V6.
what happens if you're in a non V6 engine and you don't have the paddles? What do you do if you want to downshift?
There is a low range like
Okay.
you traditionally had on a
Go up a
gated
hill,
shifter.
sure.
Yeah, so there is a low range. That's the 5th position on the shifter that you can shift into.
Oh, nice.
So-
Very, very cool. And the paddles are available. And the C300 starts where?
So the 300 starts at 31,395, and that's new this year as well. We just showing it here for the first time in New York anyway. And that's kind of been our flagship model for since 2005, quite frankly.
Sure.
since
And
we-
it has a lot of history all the
It
way
does.
back. Yeah.
This is the 60th year, actually.
Wow.
We launched it in 1955. The 300.
Wasn't it launched here at the New York International Auto Show? Is that correct?
Back in I have to check. I don't know if it was.
I'm going to check that while we're talking.
Google that. Yeah. But yeah, at 55 we launched the letter series. The 300 horsepower, big bold 300. So we're trying to bring this one back to those roots a little.
What did you say, 1965?
55.
55. That's
Yeah.
the year they go back to in Back to the Future.
Fun fact. So, what we want to do, I don't know if you remember the 2005 300 that we came out with that everyone labeled the baby Bentley?
Yes.
And it just was unbelievable and soared. What we wanted to do with this model for this year was kind of bring back a little bit of that boldness. So we updated the front end. We took the grille, made it about 32% larger, integrated the wing into the center of the grille, updated the whole front fascia. So the new front end is very imposing, and we think takes it back a lot to the 05 car that kind of set the world on fire.
Yeah, it set the world on fire. It really
Yeah.
did, and I think it's even more modern approach to that.
Yeah.
I think that's really awesome. What are some of the new safety features that are integrated into both of these cars, or not both of these cars, all of these cars and minivans? But I still call that a car. It's really a car, is it not a car?
It's a multi-purpose vehicle.
Okay.
And so I know sometimes when you say, hey, go get in the car, I use the word car as well, but it's it serves all purposes.
But it's not a truck. It's
not a truck.
And it's not a van. Come on,
However-
a van's
Correct.
come on.
Right. It's not a truck, but I can tell you some of the things that you can do in the minivan because of this stow and go
Yeah.
seat, where the seats fold right into the floor. It gives you a completely flat load floor. So if you find yourself at your local Home Depot or Menards or Lowe's and you need to pick up a sheet of plywood or you need to pick up some mulch or something, you just stow those seats into the floor and you can load that full 4x8 sheet of plywood or sheetrock or whatever else you have to in the back of your van. So there are plenty of people that use it in that multi-purpose way.
And you purposely do it as a 4x8 so that you can fit the sheetrock
Absolutely.
or all that other stuff.
Yes.
By the way, Digital Phil DP, he's a viewer. He just sent a picture of your rotary shifter. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't need to show you it because you know what it looks like, but it really is beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys have done a great job, and I like that it's not. I thought it was like right here. You put it more kind of in the instrument cluster, right below like the screen or the infotainment system, we'll call it. I call it entertainment system still. And you put it there, which, like you said, frees this all up. But I still thought it was like here somewhere as opposed to here, which really does free all this up.
Yeah, we looked at 200 being in the midsize segment. These are literally, these are commuter cars, back and forth to work everyday vehicles, right? These aren't third vehicles that are driving for fun. These are people that work every single day, and they said the interiors of these cars are paramount. They wanted the interiors to be stress reducing almost, so we focus a lot on that.
It's right under the climate control, and you also have the electronic, the e-brake.
Yeah,
that's,
e-brake.
That's funny. The e-brake, the electronic e-brake.
And those two features combined, the e-brake and then the rotary dial, which is fully electronic, are the two things that allowed us to do everything we can do, because there's hardly any space anymore needed for those two things since they're both fully electronic.
That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
I like it. What is the biggest safety innovation you guys have made in the last 2 or 3 years that we maybe wouldn't know about or that we do know about?
Well, there's a lot on both 200 and 300. One of the standard features on 200 is the electric park brake, and that's a standard feature on every 200. And what people don't know about that is we have a feature called Safe Hold on that. So if you pull up to your driveway, let's say you forget to put the car in park, open your door and take off your seatbelt, the car will know that you've done all these things, and now that we have an electronic park brake, we can automatically apply the e-brake so you don't go through your garage door or back over something. So it's these little intuitive features that we're adding across the board that are adding safety where customers typically wouldn't think about it. I mean, that's a standard safety feature across the board.
That's excellent. Well, you guys are awesome. Jill and Andy from Chrysler. I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm loving what I'm hearing, and I really am excited to go check out the new Chrysler lineup, the Town and Country, the Chrysler 200, the Chrysler 300. I call them the C200 and C300. I just take out the word Chrysler. It abbreviates it. Everybody knows what it is.
Fine.
I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing, and I think it's awesome. So keep on keeping on. Keep up the awesome work, and keep getting great gas mileage and luxury and awards on really reasonable vehicles. I feel like this is, as you said, this is great commuter, family-oriented vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and customers want more and more and more stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not anymore where they just want a bean can, get them back and forth to work.
And it's hard to get the price point there because you got to add, we got to add the Bluetooth, we got to add the backup camera. Now that's standard. Then you got to add the tire pressure gauges. That's standard. Then you got to add this, you got to add that. You have so many standard features that you have to add for safety to keep the price down. And then everybody says, well, I want Bluetooth.
Yep.
Well, what do I got to pay for Bluetooth? I should have Bluetooth. So you got to figure out how to get that affordably in, even if it's an option, still affordably so that dealers can move cars. I get it. And still find a way to fit 19 million cup holders in a car and a French fry holder.
That's right.
It's tough. I mean, you look at the 300. I mean, we added all this stuff on 300 for this new model, and we didn't take the price up $1 on the base trim.
Wow.
And you're getting, for 31, 3, you're getting standard heated leather seats. You're getting our 8.4-inch radio with Bluetooth and Cirrus. It also has that Uconnect access feature, which I don't know if you've gone through, but it's a BlackBerry. It's a horrible.
What are you doing with a black? He pulled it out of his pocket.
I got an iPhone somewhere. But if you have an iPhone, we have an embedded cell now.
I've got one right here.
There you go.
I would be very unhappy if this happened to anybody else. So I'm going to wrap myself out. It was mine that rang, and it was supposed to be not. I almost always have it not on ring, but it somehow was on ring. So anyway,
for your smartphone,
every
every 300 comes with an embedded cell in the radio. And what that allows you to do is, one, you can turn it into a Wi-Fi hotspot if you want to, if you're going on a road trip. The other,
but that costs me money every month, right?
Well, for the first 12 months, it's basically free.
It's free.
Yeah,
I like that.
And so you can see if you like it, and then you can,
you guys
get
are
addicted
nice.
to it, and then
right, exactly. Yeah, give me a taste.
But the other cool thing is we have an app that's
you're like Ben and Jerry's. I walk in there, they're like, "Hey, would you like to taste the new flavor?" Yes, I would.
That's right.
And I'll be back next week, and the week after, and the week after. All right.
Well,
All right. So you got the cell technology in there.
Yeah, which allows you to do the Wi-Fi, but it also allows you. We have a Uconnect Access app that the customers can download for free, and it allows you anywhere to start and lock your car. So you can remote start your car. So if your car is parked out in a parking garage and you're on the 60th floor of some building, you could remote start your car from the top.
Wow.
And it's nice and warm by the time you get out there.
I love that. I need that.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah, it's once you have it, and we're spoiled. Once you have it, you can't.
You guys
live
don't
without it.
really deal with parking garages like we do in New York, right?
Not like here.
They cost a lot of money, by the way. It would be great to mess with the attendants by starting the car, and they come up to from your phone. You walk in, you give them the ticket, and they go, and that by the time you start the car, by the time they get up, the car's running. They're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, you can also honk the horn. You could really mess with them.
Oh yeah,
you can honk the horn, lock the
mount
doors.
A camera in there, and then do it. And get their reaction, they come up and they're like,
You can lock the car every time they walk up to it. It starts locking.
I would have so much fun with that. Plus, I really need that as a feature to heat the car in the winter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you can turn on your automatic features too. So as soon as the temp falls below 40, your heated steering wheel and your heated seats come on automatically. So you get in the car and it's
of course. I mean,
and after the winter we had
now I need to hide the tux in the car because this is the James Bond car,
basically.
And if you've never had a heated steering wheel.
Not yet. I've heated seats, but not a heated steering wheel.
Amazing.
I've driven cars with heated steering wheels.
You just want to caress the steering wheel as you're driving.
I hate gloves. I really don't like gloves.
No,
you don't have to wear gloves when you have a heated steering wheel.
No.
Literally,
in fact, that's
it warms up
exactly
like
what
that.
I do. Is I take my gloves off and put my hands on the heated steering wheel.
Oh, I like that. That is, that's great. And then what about? Are you able to stream and control your iPhone from stream music and control your iPhone from the whole entertainment system?
Yeah, you can. I mean, Uconnect, we're obviously biased, and I think you talked to some other guys from our company, but Uconnect, I think, is one of the best radios out there, and it's very intuitive, easy to use. So, like 300, for example, everything is standard, so you can Bluetooth, so you can stream Pandora. We have apps now on the radio, so you can stream Pandora through your phone, through the radio. We also have things like Yelp that's hard-coded onto the radio, so you can do local Yelp searches if you're familiar with the Yelp
I like
app.
that. So you're driving, you're like, oh, I'm hungry, but I don't want to go to the fast food place here. I could just Yelp it. Hey, I think, by the way, the gas companies have done the same trick as this little cell technology. They you know, you got to, every time you drive, you got to refill.
Well, we have things like TravelLink though that's on our radios that'll tell you where the gas prices are in your area.
Really?
It has local weather, it has radar, it has your forecasts. I mean, it has movie times. I mean, it has everything in your car now.
Wow.
So you just it's
And this
integrated
is in
with
the
the
town
nav
of- yeah.
so that you see where the fuel price is the best, and it'll tell you how to get there.
And this is in the town and country, too.
Some of those features.
And
are.
then you can burn
Yes.
like 4 gallons going to the cheapest place.
right.
And wipe out the savings.
You got to manage that, right?
Yeah. Does it tell you the closest
one first.
But does it tell you, okay, it says, look, this one's the best one to go to because it's the cheapest but closest, as opposed to like going there, you're going to burn too much gas.
That's a great idea.
That is a good idea. You guys can have it on
Thank
me.
you.
Thank you guys for coming on BeTerrific. I
Absolutely.
love it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And you got to go check out Chrysler. This is your live continuing BeTerrific coverage of the 2015 New York International Auto Show here at the Jacob K. Javits Center. Chrysler in the house. Jill and Andy, they're amazing. You got to go check out Chrysler. And we'll be back right after this, so don't go anywhere.